JB, you know what today is?
No, I don't know.
Almost the start of the last PGA or golf major of the year. Do you know what that means?
No, I don't know golf. I don't know golf.
You know what that means?
No, what does it mean?
It means that season's over and we're only 2 weeks from football.
Now you got my attention. Football is almost here, everybody. We're getting close.
From the Stream Center, this is the Rondé Barber Show, sponsored by Advent Health and Renewal by Andersen. Here's your host, JB Buno, and Hall of Famer Rondé Barber.
All right, man. Show 5 of the Rondé Barber Show here in the Stream Center at WFLA, joined by JB. We got a special guest on today. I can't wait.
Oh man, it's
to
gonna be
dig
great.
into our special guest. But what do we got off the top here? Some news going around Bucs world. If you're interested, I think we've probably talked about this ad nauseum on some other platforms, but we haven't had a chance. So.
I mean, this is just like taking, a stake and going right into the heart of Bucs fans. Tristan Wirfs will be missing the start of the 2025 NFL season due to a knee injury that now requires a surgery. This is going to put him on the shelf. We could be seeing Tristan Wirfs on the PUP, which is not what you want to see with such a promising season on tap for the Bucs. But Rondé, how big of a loss is this for your Tampa Bay
It's
Buccaneers?
huge, especially if he does start the season on the PUP, which means he has to miss the first 4 weeks of the season. Now, if he's able to get back before training camp's over, that's determined by him. I've seen a lot of people talk about this injury and like, should he have had the surgery earlier? Well, we know that he had the MCL injury during the season, and he missed a couple of games there. And you just got to imagine with where that injury is, it's probably something that he didn't know he had before he went and got this surgery. And I just hope he's back. I mean, he's irreplaceable, dude. I mean, he's the first person all time ever to be all-pro right tackle, left tackle. And you look at the season that he just had, even with that injury, and he's still an all-pro. So I guess we're going to be looking at Charlie Heck, and I can't wait to ask our guest here in a couple of minutes about who the heck Charlie Heck is, because that is a huge loss. I mean, I don't know that there's a bigger loss to this offense that you could have than your starting left tackle. I mean, obviously maybe your quarterback, but in terms of position players, there's nobody better. So
can I say one thing on behalf of Bucs fans everywhere, because this is what Bucs fans are really saying? Tristan, come back right.
Yeah.
Like don't rush it back. Like everybody wants him back. We want the Tristan Wirfs back that we know and love, and as far as his capability as being, a stud on that offensive line. If it takes an extra game or two, it's one of those things where, I mean, this is going to be the anchor of our line for a long time.
Just remember, we won games with Justin School starting in place of Tristan Wirfs last year. So we'll see what Charlie Heck can bring. Charlie Heck's 6'8". He's got 23 career starts. I mean, it's not like he's got no football under him. So we'll be ready. The perfect person to ask that, though, is our guest, which is 35 years old. I mean, you're too young to be an offensive coordinator in the league, Josh. Aren't you? Josh Grizzard, the newly appointed offensive coordinator for Tampa Bay Buccaneers this is correct, right? You're from Lizard Lick, North Carolina. That's an actual place?
That is correct. It's an actual place. It's more of a crossroad between Zebulon and Wendell, North Carolina, actual towns outside of Raleigh, but it is an actual place.
Oh, I love it. It's almost sounds like a nickname, right? Lizard Lick. It's like, is that a real town? It sounds like a nickname town. And speaking of nicknames, I know you don't want us to do this, but we're JB and I are coming up with nicknames for you, and I'm gonna ask you which one you want most. All right, number 1 was Grizzo, which I think everybody likes. We know that one. Grizzard the Wizard, which is my personal favorite. Grizzalicious, which is JB's favorite. And Jay Grizz, I don't know. What do you want to be called?
Yeah, I mean, Jay Grizz is definitely one that's been going way back from when I was a child. But yeah, I'd go with Grizzo. If we're gonna go with one of those, I think that one has a good ring to it and brings up some good memories from a coach I used to work with. So absolutely,
I love it. All right, so I got to dig into your resume here. So you played. And I don't think a lot of Bucs fans know this unless they've just done the research, which they probably have, but I'm going to do it for them if they haven't. So you played at Yale, which, bravo, undergrad, and then you coached at Yale, and then went to be a grad assistant for 4 years at Duke. Is that right? Is that your college experience?
That's right. Yeah. So my redshirt senior year at Yale, I decided I wanted to get into coaching. So I used that opportunity to get an idea on breaking out film and helping out the staff there. So I got a little taste of what it was like that last year. And then after graduating, I had an opportunity to get on at Duke within about 3 or 4 months to be a GA there and then move to the offensive side of the ball. So I was able to get going pretty quickly, but definitely two good spots.
So you go from there, you go to the Miami Dolphins, right? Correct. You spent 7 years. How many years were you in Miami?
Yeah, 7.
7 years. You were between quality control, wide receiver. And then last year you come in the building and I see this new face in here and I'm like, who the hell is that guy? Who's that young guy walking around like he's in charge? And lo and behold, you are in charge. You're the passing game coordinator last year for the Bucs. Just give me a sense of like what that jump was from being a wide receiver coach 1 year, quality control, and then being in a room with Baker Mayfield on an offense that's scoring 30+ points a game.
It was definitely a big jump. Just going back to your question, having started in Miami as a quality control and then being able to coach the receivers and take that jump, that's at least in the coaching world, a massive jump. You're going from breaking down film, running a scout team to being the leader of a room. And now you feel like you got 5 or 6 guys that you're trying to take care of them, not only on the field and off the field, and help them out. And then being able to take a step back once Mike McDaniel got there, back to the QC role for 2 years was invaluable to be able to help myself professionally to get the job with the Bucs last year, and Coach Bowles and Liam bringing me on. So, and then taking that next step of being able to now really oversee at least the pass game portion and touch so many different positions and try to help those guys day in and day out it was a big challenge, but it was one that was a lot of fun, and just look forward to moving on from there.
Right. This offense was historic last year, and you're obviously a part of that. But taking over the reins, you have to feel a little bit of pressure, right? Just something, to make sure that Baker, Mike, Ibuka, who we just got, Chris, when he comes back, obviously, with the way the running game evolved last year with Bucky and Rashard, is there any pressure you're feeling to keep that going?
Absolutely. I think in the NFL every year there's pressure, but at the end of the day, pressure is a privilege, and it's something that if there's not expectations, then why are we doing it? It's not like we're defending a Super Bowl championship here. So we have such room to grow, and having the continuity of the staff and the players, there's definitely pressure involved with it, but I think that's the fun part about it, is seeing how myself is going to react to that pressure.
So you've never called plays before, right? Or have you gotten an opportunity like in practice or preseason or anything? Have you ever like actually had the clipboard and said, I'm making these play calls?
In practice, yeah. Even at times in Miami, there was times where I was able to call some of the 2-minute situations, working on the scout team, going against the first team offense. So there's been elements of that years back, but not in a game. Through the spring, Coach Bowles was unbelievable with allowing it to be a bunch of call-it periods. So you're not just reading off a script and you know what's coming next. So he's able to say, hey, it's 1st and 10, it's 2nd and 7. Now you're on the 4-yard line. What are you going to do?
Right.
So trying to take those game reps into practice.
I got to imagine, and I don't know this because I never called plays. I've never had to own something like a defense. I've owned a position, obviously, when I played it. But, I always wonder how coordinators, especially first-time coordinators, make the offense their own. Obviously, you're not changing the offense, and we're not getting into the X and O's in this show. But it's the same offense. Baker's had 8 different offensive coordinators, but this one he's actually staying with the same script that you guys had last year. But I guess the question is, what's your personality as a play caller going to look like, maybe as opposed to what you saw in Miami with Mike McDaniels for those 2 years, and certainly what Liam was last year for this offense? How are you going to express your personality at all?
I think at the end of the day is putting pressure on the defense and doing that through multiplicity in the run game and the pass game. I think when you can get boxed in and you just run it a bunch or throw it a bunch and the coordinator you're facing can dial in on what you're doing, then you're not helping your own team. So just trying to put pressure on them, and at the end of the day, getting it to our playmakers. As long as we can get these guys the ball, have schematically sound, and try to spread the ball around as much as possible, then that's putting pressure on them, and ultimately we're tasked to score points, and I think that'll do it.
Well, here's a better question then. What are you most looking forward to about being a first-time play caller? I think I'd be nervous. Like if someone said, "Hey, you got all these weapons, and here, just don't mess it up." So what are you most looking forward to?
There's definitely pressure involved with it. In my mind, it would be so much more nerve-wracking and pressure-filled if I didn't feel like there wasn't a great unit there.
Right.
And there's so many talent at every position, and having the continuity of the staff and being able to lean on them, and the adversity we went through last year with losing a bunch of players during the middle of the season and still trying to keep it together and make a playoff run, then I think there'll be a lot more nervousness behind it. But with that said, it's still going to be new. First time clicking the button, even in preseason games, going to be different. But trying to grow each week, and like we tell the players, not making the same mistake twice, and trying not to do that myself.
Right. You got, we mentioned Tristan earlier, and so this is probably a good question for you too. Like, how are you going to, Kevin Carberry, great offensive line coach. We saw his results last year. How does your interaction with him change now that you have your all-pro left tackle out? Like, you give him more input? Does he give you more input? How is that relationship gonna work for your offense to kind of do what we expect it to do from last year?
Yeah, we had great conversations last year. I would say it's been ratcheted up even more just by the nature of me being the coordinator. But even last year, talking with him and Pacucci, whether it was on a run game level, protections, third down, blitz pickups, it's always open dialogue. And he's such a good coach when it comes to having his opinion and then listening to your opinion and trying to meet somewhere in a middle ground. So our relationship was great last year. It was great through the spring, and expect that to continue as we get into the fall.
All right. So here's a question I most wanted to ask you. So you've been in this position obviously all off season. You got a lot to look forward to in camp. I want you to tell me who are the guys or one guy or multiple that you're most looking forward to, like, working out for you, a guy that has to step up and play. And I don't want to hear about the show ponies. I don't want to hear about Mike. I don't want to hear about Bucky. I don't want to hear about Chris Godwin. Who do you need to play well for your offense to work this year?
Yeah, I think it's hard to just narrow down one.
I'm asking you to give me one. Give me one.
Yeah. I think that where J-Mac left last season and the progress he showed on and off the field, and you could see that carry over into the spring with not having Chris out there and bringing Emeka along and him showing Emeka the ropes, then his ability to just do that and be himself and really just take off where he left off, then I think that would be huge if we were just going to actually circle one. But you know how it is. At the end of the day, it takes all 11, and he's in a good spot.
Political answer, but that actually brings up another question. You were in Miami with those two-step wide receivers down there. What's it like having this plethora of talent at the most important position in a passing offense? I mean, it's ridiculous what you guys have to work with at wide receiver this year.
We do. I mean, Coach and Jason and his guys done an unbelievable job of putting that room in a position to have so many playmakers. And I guess if you want to compare it to Miami with having now 4 to 5 guys, and now you're dealing with multiple body types, speeds, play styles, and not that Reek and Jalen are the exact same, but you're talking about shorter receivers, fast, quick, that have a lot of the same attributes. And I feel like in this room, not only do we have the speed element, but we also have guys that can go over the middle, that can win the go balls like Mike. So there's even a multitude of skill sets.
I love it. Well, we get WFLA preseason. I get to call this, and I can't wait to watch practice and figure out how this is going to look, especially the little guy, Tez Johnson. I want to see him work, man. I want to see him work.
Yeah. And Tez did a great job coming here in the spring. He brings a lot of energy too. I don't know how much you've spoken to him, but just great personality and a worker. And he had to get used to that Florida heat a little bit coming from Oregon. But he's in a good spot.
That's a legit problem. Oh, Grizz, man. I think I'm out of questions for you, man. But this is great. I'm glad to get to know you. I mean, literally, guys. I walked through the building and I had no idea who this guy was. I just if someone would have told me last year and being in office that you were going to be our coordinator next year, I said, okay, I'm going to be your coordinator then. I don't know who Josh Grizzard even is. Who is this guy? Yeah. You look too young to be offensive coordinator, but I wish you all the luck, man. Thanks for coming on with us, buddy.
I appreciate you guys. We're fired up for the season. It's finally here. We had enough time off. It's time to get back to it.
I love it.
Josh Grizzard joining us, everybody, here on the program. Great to have him on. Josh, we'll see you on the sidelines all season there. You see him, of course, at One Buck Place, getting ready to call plays for Baker Mayfield. Man, really awesome to have him
I'm excited
on the program. I'm excited to see how fired up he is on the sideline. Is he one of the more calculated, coordinators that's kind of just zoned in all the time. Also, too, is he going to be on the sideline or is he going to be up in the booth?
That's a good question. We probably should ask that.
Yeah, wait.
That's a question for Chris Myers when we start getting ready for Bucs preseason on WFLA.
Yeah, man. I just want to see what his moxie is.
Right.
You know what I mean? Speaking of Bucs leadership and Bucs coaching, so other big news for the Bucs offseason, perhaps the biggest news of the Bucs offseason. The Buccaneers agreeing to multi-year extensions with general manager Jason Licht and head coach Todd Bowles. The extensions themselves, like the details themselves, not disclosed publicly, but we do know that Bowles and Licht, that duo, locked up now for multiple seasons. So, Rondé, this caught Bucs fans a little bit by surprise. I think to be fair, I think that the Jason Licht extension was met with a lot more applause, and then the Bowles one was a little bit more head scratching. But what is your take on the extensions for both of these two?
Certainly appropriate considering the circumstances of the last 3 years, right? He's won 3 division titles. And let's talk about Todd Bowles first. So he's won 3 division titles. He's been in the playoffs all those years, 4 years, including the year prior. Obviously, they went to the Super Bowl with him as the defensive coordinator. And I think in reality, whether Bucs fans want to believe it or not, I think this organization in general is in a position now where they're not looking to change. They don't want to go out and try to find the next new guy. I mean, how many head coaches has there been in Tampa between even when I last played, which was 14 years ago, and now? I think there's been 6 head coaches in that time frame, which is a lot. I mean, I can count them, right? It was Raheem, it was Schiano, it was Lovey, it was Dirk, it was BA. Yeah, it's 6. There's been 6 since I left. So I don't think they want to do that. And I think they feel like they have a stable guy who's really kind of been a driving force with one side of the ball. But I would love to see him get better on his side of the ball. I think that's where Bucs fans probably have had some of their consternation, is that like he's a defensive coordinator and the defense doesn't play as good as the offense. But the reality is he has won 3 division titles. Now you talk about Jason Licht, and Jason could be considered the best GM in Bucs history right now. I mean, he's won a championship. He's easily, I think, drafted 5 or 6 of the best players in Bucs history. A couple of them currently still on this roster. And I think what they're doing in terms of roster building is kind of transformative around the league in the way that Mike Greenberg has set up the cap and been able to keep players for a long period of time. It's all credit to Jason and Rob McCartney and John Spytak, who left, who's now the general manager at the Las Vegas Raiders, and their staff. They've done a great job. So I applaud bringing Jason, and obviously Todd deserves it as well.
You bring up a good point. I'm really curious to see how not even just Bucs fans, but just the NFL landscape judges Coach Bowles in the future. Is he judged exclusively on how the defense performs?
Yeah, it seems like it, right?
Right? That's how it feels. Or is it win-losses, and is it the NFC South?
Right.
Because if the offense, if Grizzard, the Wizards offense performs like it's capable of with Baker and all of those weapons, and the defense isn't a top 15 defense in the league, let's say, how is Bowles going to be perceived? Because if you let's say you win the NFC South with a 9-8 or a 10-7 record, let's say that for a second, but that the defense isn't up to stuff. Are Bucs fans going to look at that as a win for Bowles, or are they going to say, hey, we thought you were the defensive guru that was supposed to lead us to being one of the top 5 defenses in the NFL?
Right. I think it's that. I think they'll start thinking that he hasn't done his job well enough, right? Because you're going to score points with the talent that we have on offense. You're gonna be around high 20s, low 30s points per game on offense. It's just being able to match that on defense, and they have. Like statistically, you look at it, and sometimes deceiving, what they've done statistically in league on defense. It's not terrible, but it feels like there's times where they haven't been able to get the stop, the one stop. I always say this because obviously you haven't played the game for a long time, been around it and watching it. most great defenses, or even really good defenses, are able to get that one stop when it matters. And this team wasn't able to do that last year, but yet they still won a lot of games because of it. So I think a lot of Bucs fans think that he's not doing a job. And honestly, it's on him because he's calling the plays. It's not like he's a defensive head coach who has a defensive coordinator. He is the defensive coordinator. He has assistant defensive coordinators, but they're not calling the plays, and the pressure is then squarely on the head coach. But if you're asking me, though, to be honest with you, JB, it should be predicated on the wins, right? You still have
You're head coach. You're head coach.
Yeah, you still have to get your team out there and play every single week. You have to find a way to win a division, which they did, and they got some assistance last year because Atlanta faltered down the stretch. But the reality is 3 division championships, the number of wins that this team has had in their tenure, they're at the top of the NFC. So there's really nothing to complain about. And every time Philly comes to town, who is the past Super Bowl champion, they win.
Yep.
So, I mean, they're doing something right. And I think the brass up top here in Tampa realizes that you can go searching for the next great thing, and you just never know if you ever really have it. So I think they're pretty comfortable with who they have in charge right now.
All right, I'm going to try to get inside your head for a second here. Your 3, just because we're on episode 5 of this show, and I think I know you well enough to get inside your head a little bit. Correct me if I'm wrong. Fact or fiction? The 3 biggest X factors to Todd Bowles, his defense, and their success in the upcoming season are: number 1, the health of Antoine Winfield Jr. in the secondary.
Yes.
2,
best player in football 2 years ago.
Whether or not David Walker is the dude on the defensive in the defensive rookie class, whether or not he can perform.
Yep. I think he's the one that's probably going to get the most attention from us, is because we need pass rush, and we just haven't had consistent. Obviously, getting Yaya to kind of finish some of his plays will help there as well. And we know it. God, I'm blanking on our defensive end. We just brought
Hassan Reddick. That was my number 3.
Yeah.
So then,
then Hassan Reddick. So, but those kind of go in chance. But I think the reality is, you still got to stop people. We give up a lot of yards passing. And now I know there's a correlation between what happens up front and what happens in the secondary. I mean, that's why our defenses are so good, because our front 4 or 5 was so good rushing the quarterback, because we sent a lot of 5-man pressures. That helps your corners. But I think the number 3 on that, and it's not Hassan, it's how Jamel Dean and McCollum play this year at corner. It's going to be important, and I think they're going to change up some. It won't look like it has in the past. They're going to try to use some of their athleticism, I think, and if they can play better, we'll get stops. Those one stops that you need. You need one stop a lot of times in football, and they got to find ways to get that.
Well, there's questions at the cornerback position for the Bucs, and it actually ties into a problem that is somewhat league-wide. Yeah, the Rondé Barber Show continues after this.
You're watching the Rondé Barber Show, sponsored by Renewal by Andersen, superior products, exceptional service, and by Advent Health, the exclusive hospital of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now here's NFL Hall of Famer Rondé Barber, and a guy who still thinks the Houston Oilers are a thing, JB Muno.
The Houston Oilers, are they a thing? Are they? I'm asking for a friend.
There's some homage going to the Houston Oilers in this next segment, though, actually. Oh, that's another good segue.
Oh, man, I love it. The Houston Oilers. Shout out on the Rondé Barber Show. Good to have you, everybody. Let's bring in the next segment here, which you know what? We'll pause this. We're going to come back to this in just a second, because we're talking about throwback unis, and you see this one here on your screen.
Oh, yeah.
But the one that we really want to focus in on before we rank the top 5, are right here. We're talking about the Buccaneers and their release of the 50th anniversary white Creamsicle uniforms. Man, and you got to say it like that, folks. You got white. It's clean. This might be the most sexy, all right, throwback uni in all the NFL.
I agree.
I don't know what adjective you want to use to describe it, but
sexy's a good one.
Man, this
They're
is
sick, man.
Clean,
they look awesome.
Neat.
Right.
What are the words that the young kids are using these days?
I don't know. I'm out of that. I'm out of that realm. My kids are all graduated from college. I have no idea what they're saying about what looks cool. Let's ask our
producers.
Yes.
What's a cool young person lingo to describe the white unis? Oh, yeah, no, they got nothing.
Yeah,
they got
fake,
nothing.
They're fake young over here. They're not even really young. I tell you what, the 50th logo hat in white that they just showed back there. Oh my God!
I said that same thing yesterday.
Holy cow, that one's unbelievable. Yeah, dude, this white on white with the orange, organic orange lettering, I think looks just beautiful. It's better, in my opinion. This is not a hot take, or it can be if you want it to be.
Yeah, no. If it's a hot take, we're queuing up the barbecue. Look, come on.
It's way better than the orange uniform, and I don't hate the orange uniform. I know we wore it, and I wore it for the first time. We threw it back in 2009, and I'll get into this story real quick because I was fortunate enough, if you will say that, to come into the league in 1997, which was the first year out of the Creamsicle. Now, I want you to look at this jersey right here. Now, this is not like what the jerseys look like now. This had the pinholes in it. It was
Why is it
really
such an awkward
thin.
fit?
It was real thin. I did the throwback sleeves like they did back in the 80s. You know, we didn't have the crunched up tight sleeve when I did this. Now, we won this game. This was no, we didn't win this game. We won that game, the Green Bay game. But I think we've lost a lot of our games in the orange. But my story on throwback. So we're at 2009. We're gonna break out the throwback uniforms now. That's only like 12 years from when we last wore our regular uniforms. But we go to practice, right, JB? And I kind of preface this story for you. And everybody's all hyped up. Throwback uniforms, going to look awesome. You know, haven't seen the orange in forever. And they do something to us to kind of get us excited about it. They hang your uniform in our locker the entire week. So it's just sitting there. And so you go in the locker room, you walk through, you go by 20, you go by 40, you go by all these numbers, and you're like, man, that it looked really cool. Look at this jersey. Look at this jersey right now. Look at the stitching and the numbers and everything else. So when hanging in the locker room, it looked really cool, man. Like it was a lot of orange hanging up. I was like, man, this is gonna be so awesome. Finished practice, right? We go to Sunday and get dressed. Everybody starts getting dressed. We put on this white and put on this orange. And I'm like, this looks terrible. It was like, it didn't do it for me, man. It was like, I was so excited.
Because, man, in some of these photos, and to our Apple Podcasts and Spotify audience, you'll have to watch this on YouTube, because in some of the photos, it looks like it fits right. And then there's the one of you walking out of the tunnel where it I don't know, man.
It's like they went with the old right material.
Here. That looks like a weird fit there.
Yeah, it had all this old material. It just didn't look cool, man. I was just like, oh my God. And then I think I probably wore it 2 more times in my career, those next 3 years. But I mean, I guess I got used to it, and I know everybody loves the throwback. I mean, the white on orange with the red accent is pretty awesome, dude.
Yeah, let's bring this up again, and a full shout out to the Bucs, because team store is open and you can get these unis right now. This is the big photo shoot that they did for social media and for promotional purposes. There's Baker in the white on orange. I mean, this is a really clean look, man. Yeah. And it's very hard to find anybody on X or anywhere on social media that thinks that this is a bad look. At the very worst I've seen is that it's average. It's clean.
I don't think if you do a poll that anybody won't say that this is the #1 throwback uniform. I mean, it's so unique. I mean, the color schemes, and when we start talking about throwback uniforms, color scheme matters. Like, to me, it's the colors, right? Because it grabs your attention. Like, even if you're not a fan of the Bucs, you're going by and you turn on the TV or you see that, you're being like, bam, I'm watching that just to see what they're talking. Look at that hat, by the way.
That hat's pretty awesome.
Oh,
with the 50 on it. I mean,
unbelievable.
So we talked a little bit about this in the pre-pro call. I wanted to know, does it matter when it comes to an athlete's performance? Let's hone in on football here.
Okay.
Is it true that if you look good, you play good? I forget where that comes from. I'm going to Google it. But look good, play good is a thing.
I think that's Dion. Yeah.
Look good, play good.
Yeah. It matters because self-confidence psychologically. Yes,
it is Dion.
Yes,
yep.
But no, it does not matter what you look like. However, I would say probably I'm not gonna say the biggest, but probably one of the biggest pre-game rituals is trying to figure out what the hell you're going to look like And like, you don't know sometimes. You're like, am I going to match this wristband with this wristband? Am I going to wear long sleeves? Am I going to pull my socks up? Am I going to give the fans that stripe that's on the sock, or am I going to just completely go white? You know, there's some idiots in the league that just completely don't wear socks, and I think it looks stupid and unprofessional. But like, there's so many accents. There's so many accents to a good-looking uniform that make them just sweet. And this one has so many. I mean, Buccaneer Bruce on the side with the orange stripe with the red bordering that matches the same image on the sleeves and on the socks. I mean, you got to coordinate, right?
Speaking of coordinating, I think we were very close, by the way, on our wardrobes today. We were very close to rocking this creamsicle thing. We have a creamsicle thing going
kind
on.
Of reddish creamsicle. I did not do that on purpose, but I'm glad that we did.
Yeah, man. No, the white creamsicle look. Boys, it's going to be played. Which week do we have it? Week 3. And then maybe again in Seattle. I'm being told.
Right.
Much smarter men over here to the right than I. This is going to be awesome.
Yes.
Now, if you look good, you feel good isn't a thing. Is it possible to say if you look bad, you play bad? if you're in a hideous uni, does it affect your play?
Dude, I can go back and look at Rondé Barber from 1998. My uniform was horrendous, man. I had like huge shoulder pads. Like I looked like a kid playing in like with my dad in the backyard or whatever. And like my socks were just uniform.
Like the kid from Little Giants who couldn't fit into the uniform and the pads.
I looked just like the mannequin that they put up like in the NFL locker rooms. You go in there and it's like, you should look like this. I looked exactly like that. And I looked terrible, but I played pretty well.
So that brings us to the next segment here on the show, because I think this is going to be a lot of fun, because we asked Rondé Barber, Hall of Famer, Bucs Ring of Honor member, host of the Rondé Barber Show, we're excluding this uni, right, from this experiment, from this exercise?
This is at the top. We don't need to even talk about it. Let's talk about the others.
Top 5 throwback unis across the league at present.
Right.
I think that was the exercise.
No, it wasn't at present. It was all time.
All time?
Garrett told me all time.
We doing all time?
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? We got one of the Michael Jordan shrugs over here. So, all time.
I went all time. So let me start with like a couple of the ones that people are going to talk about before we throw up this New England one. So the Chargers are doing an all yellow one, negative. Pittsburgh and Green Bay, they're doing throwbacks this year. They're going to be classy, but they're going to be boring because of their simplicity. You just know it's just like going to be like mauve and whatever. Atlanta, if you're a Falcons fan, you like that throwback, but it doesn't do anything. The one that I left out, which I should put in because I'm a huge diehard Washington fan, is the throwback to the Super Bowl era Redskins uniform. And I see Red over here shaking his head. He's like, yeah, that's the one. That thing is clean. But their uniforms don't look that much different from that now. I mean, even though they do, but they don't. All right, all-time throwbacks. All right, here we go. Number 5. We're going to start 5-1, JB. The New England Patriots. Now, everybody loves a red, white, and blue motif, right? It's not a tired trope at all. The one thing that I love about this uniform and why I think it's like an iconic throwback is this corny Pat the Patriot on the helmet with his hand on a football, like you don't know what he's supposed to be doing, right? He's like, is he the center? Like, what? I guess he's the center, but why would you put a center on a helmet? And I don't know why I love that. And I think about Patriots. I think about that. So that's number 5 for me.
Every time I see this uni, I get Cracker Jacks vibes. Doesn't it remind you of Cracker Jacks?
Yeah, but you know exactly what it is. When you see that uniform, you like, that's Patriots uniform from whatever era, circa, 1900, because that's what the corny guy looks like. All right, number 4, I should say, the Denver Broncos Orange Crush. Now, yes, the orange, I love that color. Remember we were talking about earlier, the color. I love the color of this orange. It looks unbelievable. But the big thing is that the D logo on the side with the Bronco coming out. Now they got the big Bronco on the side, just like a lot of other organizations. But with the D representing and then the Bronco, so you get the name of the city and the mascot right there in one little awesome little logo. That one kind of does it for me. for Denver. I don't know how you feel about Denver.
This is the only one I'm going to hate on. This is the only one I'm going to hate on because I feel like the wardrobe guy messed up with the orange. Like it was supposed to be like, look, it's almost Patriots like with the red, white, and blue, and then all of a sudden, boom, like bright Broncos orange.
You got to be different, man.
It is
got to be different. It's just different. Is there another orange like that in the league? I mean, that's different from our orange, right?
It's straight Nickelodeon orange, man, right there. No, but you know what though? It does pop. And you know what? I like it when it pops on broadcast. This is one of those unis that absolutely pops on broadcast. No doubt.
All right, number 3. Now, they're at number 3 for a reason.
Speaking of one that doesn't pop on broadcast.
But they have a dope color scheme, man. Like that, the helmet is awesome. With the Eagles right underneath right off the side of the front of the helmet. They got the eagle, the real eagle on the shoulder. Look at it. It hurts his shoulder right there. And that Kelly green, man. The only thing that makes this not higher for me is that a lot of times it's like it looks too uniform. Like the colors are everything's too similar. And when they do the all green, which they've done in the past, it looks ridiculous. But I think the Kelly green is what does it for me. And that Eagles helmet and with the eagle on the shoulder. I mean, it's a clean look, man.
This one is a good look. But yes, it gets a little lost on broadcast because, man, that's getting pretty close to the color of most grass / turf.
Exactly. It's uniform, right? It's just too uniform. The colors match too much.
But it is Kelly Greens, man.
Yeah.
Come on, Philly, they know what's up.
We gave him some love.
Yeah,
all right, here's the one.
Another shout out for the Houston Oilers on the Rondé Barber Show.
we got a lot to talk about Houston late here in a little bit, but the Tennessee Titans throwback, it's vintage. Now, how about this? Now, you're giving a homage to a city where you didn't even play. Yes, it's the right, organization, but that's some serious respect, man. The Titans were never had an oil rig. I mean, I guess there might be oil rigs in Nashville, but I don't know that. But this color scheme, dude, with the powder blue and that pinstripe red, like around his number, and the stripe on it, like. That hits, man. You can't go wrong with powder blue most of the time, right?
This one is awesome.
Yeah, I just think it's awesome. And the derrick on the side of the helmet is just awesome looking to me.
I'll give you a barbecue hot take. This look is so clean to me that they should find a way to merge it with the current Tennessee Titans logo and just make this their standard uni.
I agree.
This is such a clean look.
Let's just get everybody start digging, believing that they dig for oil in Tennessee. They probably do. I don't even know.
By the way, did we pick Tannehill? Is Tannehill
I don't know. That's a red thing.
Oh, that's Levis.
Yeah.
I thought that was Tannehill.
No,
it looked very close to me. Long time ago. Yeah, that's Levis.
Also not starting for this team.
Right. They have something in common. All right. A drum roll for the number one. Your number one favorite throwback uni.
Oh, number one.
Right here, baby.
It is this color scheme. That royal blue. I mean, it's the royal blue, really, that just gets me, man. The silver, the numbers are simple, right? There's no pinstriping. It's just a number. And they got that silver helmet that matches their silver pants. And then to top it all off, the blue face mask.
And for those of you just listening in the car right now or walking your dog, Rondé's talking about the Seattle Seahawks Kingdom era throwbacks.
Yes, that one is. And then just for me, the hawk emblem coming from the back of the helmet, just like the Eagles one connects in the front, the Hawks connect in the back. I think this one's awesome. This is my favorite uniform of all time. Now, I don't like all the neon stuff that they throw into, on top of it. But small accents, like in the green right there on in the eagle on the shoulder, and I think there might be 1, 2 on the helmet. That looks clean. This is, I don't know, this one's just iconic to me.
Yeah. I love this look too. I like the Houston Oilers throwback a little bit more than that. But can we just agree, right, that especially this week with the unveiling, that the Bucs. The Bucs white on orange creamsicle. Right. This is the best one. This is the best one.
Ironically, number 1 and 2 on both of our lists, because we like Seattle, came into the league in the same year.
Yeah, look at that.
How about that?
All right.
1976 was a good year.
Oh, man. Vita Vea looks good. Shout out Vita Vea, by the way. In the NFL Top 100 announced today, he's number 76.
Yes,
Vita Vea. pretty awesome stuff that Vita Vea being recognized by his peers in the NFL top 100. Let's get to some more NFL news here on the Rondé Barber Show.
Let's stop having fun and start getting into some hard-hitting stuff.
Yeah, because we teased this a little bit earlier on in the show, because we have a bit of a situation regarding the Buccaneers' second-round draft pick, but it's not just the Buccaneers, folks. It's 30 out of 32 NFL teams having difficulty signing their second-round draft picks, and this is an emerging storyline around the NFL. And Rondé, feel free to take this away here, because a couple of picks, 2 picks to be exact, received full guaranteed contracts. That being wide receiver Jaden Higgins for the Texans, followed by linebacker Carson Schweisinger of the Cleveland Browns, getting fully guaranteed deals. And just to kind of keep people up to speed on this, when 2 second-round draft picks get fully guaranteed deals, all the others are thinking, I want that.
Right. And so you got to ask yourself, JB, is there a paradigm shift going on in the NFL where second-rounders are now going to be expected to get fully guaranteed contracts? Now, there's only 31 players unsigned. 30 of them, Shamar Stewart for the Bengals, 17th. That's a whole nother conversation that we're not going to have on this show, why he hasn't signed. But the other 30 are all second-round picks. And here's the facts, right? You're not negotiating total number, right? It's a slotted wage scale now. Like, you know exactly what you're getting before the season. And then the only thing that you can negotiate is your guaranteed money. And for years, it's been tapered. So first-round draft picks get fully guaranteed contracts because they have that 5th-year option at the end. There's no 5th-year option in the second round. They get 4-year contracts. That's just standard, okay? So the 5th-year option really makes it significant for a first-round draft pick to get a guaranteed contract. Now this year, thanks to the Houston Texans, who are the 34th pick with Jaden Higgins, signed a fully guaranteed second-round contract. Immediately after that, like a day later, Carson Schweisinger in Cleveland, who was the 33rd pick, the first pick in the second round, got a guaranteed contract. And then all of a sudden, everybody in the second round, or agents representing these players in the second round, are now thinking that second rounders should be fully guaranteed as well. Now, I have a problem with that because owners are certainly not wanting to give out guaranteed money, certainly not past the first round, for probably a couple of reasons. One being the uncertainty of the position, once of the draft position. Once you start giving guaranteed contracts, it's going to start matriculating down lower, lower, and lower, lower. So if you're at the end of the second round, or say a year ago, you probably got 25% of your contract guaranteed. I think the top of the second round got 59 or something, 60% guaranteed, which was, significant. But asking for 100% guarantee in the second round, to me, it's stepping out there. It's a little crazy because you just don't know what you're getting. You expect this guy to play. Like Carson Schweisinger for Cleveland, he's probably going to start at middle linebacker. But the guaranteed money is it's hanging up on these owners, because think about this, JB. When you talking to an owner, you're the cap guy or you're the general manager, and you're talking to an owner, they don't really care about the big number. They don't care about the years down the road. The only thing they care about is cash flow in that particular year. And if you start giving out guaranteed contracts on top of your first round draft pick, you basically have to put all that guaranteed money, because all guaranteed money doesn't stay with the person paying it. It goes in escrow to the league, so the league can then pay. So that money is guaranteed. So like if an owner doesn't have it, how's he going to put it in there? I think that's probably where the biggest hang up is coming from in this. Owners are just going to be reticent to put all this guaranteed money, which they then have to allocate out that year. That 1 year, they have to get that money out before they can sign a guy. Now, it's a problem because who's going to budge? So a couple of things, right? There's 2 X factors, and that we'll talk about in a second. But as it comes to Benjamin Morrison, we're what they would go to camp on the 22nd or 21st for rookies. So what is that? 5 days. No contract for a kid out of Notre Dame who's expected to compete in the secondary. I don't think he's necessarily going to be one of the inside players, the nickels, because I think that's kind of Jacob Parrish's place. But he was certainly going to provide competition to Zion and Jamel Dean at the corner position and hope to raise the level of play there. So not having him, I think, is a big, significant loss for a team that was really trying to upgrade that position.
This is just such a league-wide issue right now. The Wall Street Journal report coming out yesterday, too, highlighting the issue. It's becoming more talked about around the league, even though I'm sure it's been discussed by NFL GMs and NFL executives for some time. But all I can think of is the Gladiator quote, hold the line, because there's undoubtedly unity going on with agents. You know that agents are putting tremendous pressure, and really on deck is the next pick, by the way, which is Seattle Seahawks impending safety out of South Carolina, Nick Eamon-Mori, who is the pick after Schweitzinger. So now all of a sudden, tremendous pressure on Nick and really his agent, and a lot of pressure also too league-wide on the Seahawks to see what they're going to do with their second-round pick, because at some point, somebody in the second round isn't going to get guaranteed money.
Right.
There's going to be that switch that's flipped, and we just don't know when it's going to be. Is Eamon-Mori going to get fully guaranteed, and is it going to pass the buck on to quite literally the next draft pick in the class? I mean, I don't know.
So here you go. So technically, they're not holding out, because you can't. Technically, that's not right. They are technically holding out, but they can't be fined because they're not under contract, right? So Trey Harris is the only one currently, because the Chargers are in camp. They already reported to camp. He's the first holdout of these second rounders, because they're the only ones that are in camp right now with the second round pick. Pittsburgh, by the way, is the only team without a second-round pick. They have all their draft picks signed. Now, you asked a really important question about who's going to break the line. To me, there's some X factors here. So Quinshon Judkins for the Pats, right? Mm-hmm. If you're playing a game of chicken right now, he's probably the one that's one of the two, I think, that'll probably gonna be the one that breaks, because he just got arrested last week for domestic violence, and he's gonna have to be under the personal conduct policy for the NFL, which does apply to him. But they can't start doing anything until he signs a contract. So there's no money being lost from Judkins because he hasn't signed his contract. So he's probably wanting to get that over with. And so he probably is the one that will sign a contract first that is not fully guaranteed, nor would the Patriots likely want to give him a fully guaranteed contract after he just got arrested and is going to be subject to his personal conduct policy. The other one is the Saints quarterback, second round quarterback, Tyler Shuck. So he's expected to be a starter. Right. He's at least vying for a starting position in New Orleans. And so if you're New Orleans, conversely to what we were just saying about the Pats, conversely, New Orleans might be, hey, we have this guy is a first-round talent. We drafted him in the second. We're expecting to be our starting quarterback. We're going to capitulate and give him another fully guaranteed contract. I think he's number 7 or 8 in the second round. And then when that happens, then some other dominoes start to fall. Everybody in front of him, between number 34 and wherever he got picked, they're all going to be expecting fully guaranteed contracts. So it's going to get. I think it's going to get messy before it gets any better. You would hate for rookies, especially second round rookies, guys that still have to prove themselves, to miss the start of camp and ability or opportunity to maybe play at the beginning, early in their rookie years, because they have this second round conundrum going on. And special thanks to Houston for throwing a wrench in everybody's plans this year.
I would imagine Houston and that front office not very popular league-wide at the moment. Also doing some research on this. Look, the CBA, this is collectively bargained upon. Right. And so that current CBA doesn't expire for another 5 seasons. Right. 20 after the 2030 NFL season. So this is an emerging storyline with second-round draft picks that just for a second. I mean, so obviously your perspective on this being, a third-round draft pick is fascinating as well. I'm just curious how your take on this. I mean, it's so easy to be in the players camp, because you're going to tell me that you're picked just outside the first round, and just because of the round itself, you're 33 instead of 32. You're treated differently than the guy that went one pick ahead of you. I understand that there has to be a cutoff, but from a player standpoint, you're saying, man, if I went one pick earlier and I just snuck into the first round, my financial situation would be quite different
in terms of guaranteed money.
Right.
But I think the reality is it is collectively bargained in the sense that there is that fifth-year option on players. Now, a lot of those fifth-year options don't get picked up in the NFL. We see it every year. So-and-so decides to not pick up the fifth-year option. So essentially he's on a 4-year contract, right? And then he's gone, just like a second-round draft pick would be. But they have guaranteed money. So if you're the person that should care is the guy that, say, the first 2, 3, 4, 5 picks in the second round, because essentially you could have easily been slotted in ahead of any of those other players, depending on who was drafting, right? If based on need or whatever team may have wanted you in the first round. But at some point, I think you're right. And my take is you shouldn't have to guarantee these contracts for these owners shouldn't have to guarantee these for the reasons I said before. You're giving out dollars when you guarantee to the league. You don't own when you put a guaranteed signature on a contract, that money is no longer with the owner. It goes to the league and stays with the league because it's guaranteed. So if you defunct or whatever happens to your finances, that player gets his guaranteed money. That's where the problem is. So to me, I just don't see it happening, and I don't think it should, because of all the sports, football is the one, and this is probably one of the bigger takes here. Of all the sports, football's the one where the instance and the possibility of catastrophic injury is the highest, right? It's the one sport where you may tear your knee up and never play again, or never be at that position again, or you got evaluated poorly and you're not as good as your contract and you're a second round draft pick, and all of a sudden you got guaranteed money and the team's stuck with you. Like, should there be a commitment to them? And this is what the NFLPA is pushing for. Yes, there should be commitment to that. But there should still be some evaluation period. And I think if you put guaranteed money on them, you're just stuck with a guy who you may or may not like or may not be able to play. So it's a tough question to answer, and I don't see it ending anytime soon.
I'm grateful that we didn't pull out the Dr. Rondé segment and ask you to fix this problem.
I don't have a fix.
It's certainly complex. The Rondé Barber Show continues with Ask Rondé right after this.
It's time for you to Ask Rondé, sponsored by Advent Health and Renewal by Andersen.
All right, it's that time where you get to ask Rondé on AskRondé.com. Any question you have, you can just go to AskRondé.com, submit a selfie video, and get this, you guys. This is really cool. I love this because last week we drew a winner that actually submitted a question on AskRondé.com. And here's Jonathan. He came by to get his Bucs signed hat. There he is. There's Jonathan in the Stream Center. He came by. Rondé was not here that day, but picked up his hat. Look, folks, we're not messing around. All you do is submit a selfie video question on AskRondé.com, and you can be right there, like that smiling face right there, like Jonathan, to pick up your signed memorabilia. There's Rondé signing all the swag that you can get your hands on, man. And actually, here's Jonathan's question, because we just missed it last week. We wanted to include it this week.
Hey, Rondé. Got 2 questions for you. One, if you were contacted by national media and they asked you to do regular season games, would you do them? Would you broadcast on them? And 2, if the Bucs asked you to coach, or if anybody asked you to coach, would you do that? Thank you.
Good question.
I'd like to point out for Jonathan that we like him here on the Rondé Barber Show. We're not trying to get him hired elsewhere, but
You're going to have to pay me more, JB, to get me to stay for national media. No, look, I did the national media games. I did games for 7 years, and I enjoyed it. Unfortunately, it ended, but it is what it is. I've kind of moved on from it. I did like doing it, though. I mean, I had a great crew, especially my last year, working with Kenny Albert and Barry Landis, who's a great producer at Fox for a long, long time. But no, I think that ship sailed, man.
But to the second question question: would you coach?
Would I coach, dude? If I've said this many times, and I'll say it again: those who do play, those who do not coach. And I didn't say can. I usually say can and cannot. I just don't want to insult, like the Josh Grizzards who we had on earlier. But no, man, coaching's not in my future either.
But you do get to scratch that itch when you go to One Buck Place. You get to talk to players, right? And they ask you for advice, and you're able to mentor some young players.
I'm around all the time, and a lot of those guys reach out to me, and I sit there and have conversations with them. The game has changed, though, even from when I retired 14 years ago, man. So my perspective is a little bit different. I don't want to be like the dinosaur in the room, but a lot of the times I am the dinosaur because of the way that I saw the game and the way this game has evolved. I mean, it's definitely different. It's harder to keep up with now than it ever has been because of the constant evolution of what's happening in offense and defense and but at the end of the day, a lot of guys just want to know how I played so long, and that's probably the best advice I can give them.
I want to put you on the spot here. In retirement, since you have retired from your NFL playing career, of course, your Hall of Fame career with the Bucs, give me one player, again, in retirement, that you feel like you have mentored the most, that really absorbed a lot of the knowledge that you passed down to them.
In retirement? Oh, that's a good question. There was a kid named L.J. Johnson, Leonard Johnson, who played here, who I spent a lot of time with. Actually, I spent a lot of time with him even after he left to go to Buffalo. I think that's where he played. And he's from Largo, and he's from the area. And but I spent tons of time talking football with him and technique, and he was close to when I finished, but I think he may even play with me my last year. And he did play with me my last year, and then I was able to be around him a lot. And good kid, and I do my best. I mean, I talked to Sean Murphy Bunting, I remember, a long time about playing off technique and how to transition and what route combinations look like and how to cover them. So whoever asks, I'm available.
We have 60 seconds for this question. Let's see if we can sneak this in before we have to draw the names out of the thingy, whatever we're calling it.
Yes,
that thingy where we draw the names out for the winners. We'll have that. We'll pull that up here in a second. But here's one more.
Hey, Rondé. My name is Ashley Evans, and I am a huge Bucs fan because of my husband. My question is, if you could have picked any other career besides football, what would it have been?
Ooh, that's a good question. So I was a marketing major out of the University of Virginia's McIntyre School of Commerce. I have no idea. Maybe wealth management?
Wealth management?
I have no idea. You know what? When I first came here, I haven't told you this story. When I first came here, I didn't know if I was going to make it. This is a funny story. I'll keep it real quick. And this is going to be a shout out to R.W. Baird, because they gave me an internship after my first year in the league, because I didn't play it all my first year. And I knew a guy there named John Cannon. He introduced me to some of the people at R.W. Baird. And I did an internship over the summer. And it's wealth management and down that avenue. And I realized that I better start becoming a better football player, because that's not what I want to do.
Here in the Stream Center, we'll throw up slider cam. Yes, let's bring it in, and let's. We only have literally 60 seconds. We got to draw these as quickly as can be.
All right,
before we end out the program.
So
swirl it around.
All right,
one of each color.
Picking up one of each. All right, I got them both. All right, here we go. All right, which one comes first? All right. Oh, a full-size football. Woohoo!
All right, signed football.
Signed football, and that is going to go to Bill Stein.
Bill Stein. Let's hit the applause button for Bill.
Yes, free autograph. You're welcome, Bill.
We'll be reaching out to you, Bill, again, folks, to win some signed Bucs memorabilia. A lot of them 50th anniversary signed memorabilia for the 50th season for the Bucs coming up here. All you got to do is submit a video question to AskRondé.com, the QR code right there in the bottom right of your screen. Episode 5's in the books, Rondé. And guess what?
5.
Our next episode will be in the month of August, which, guess what, everybody? It means the football's back.
Football season.
Football season coming back.
Can't wait. We got a lot of stuff to talk about. Players that need to step up, all that other stuff, position battles. I can't wait. Yeah, it'll be the week after the first preseason game. So I look forward to seeing y'all then.
Look forward to a great season on the Rondé Barber Show. You can, of course, find the Rondé Barber Show on your smart TV, Apple TV, Roku, Fire TV, and Samsung smart televisions by downloading the WFLA streaming app for your smart TV. For Rondé Barber, I'm JB Buno. We'll see you next time on RBS, folks. See you well.